finals, and then throughout spring until now.
Yeah, EVOS Divine, if you look at their trajectory on all of our Battle Royale games, they're a team that depends heavily on survival. They're a team that depends heavily on those revivals, I have to say. And it's most of the time their sniper Rasia running to the vending machine, keeping coins in his pocket, spending it all on his team members, bringing them back in time and time again. But here in Clash Squad, you don't get a second chance, right? You step on out there, one small mistake, and you put your team in a lot of trouble because you don't get a second chance within that round in itself. And EVOS Divine just hasn't really shown us anything beautiful, anything magical so far in Clash Squad. Although, that said, they are one of the best in Indonesia when it comes to Clash Squad.
Yeah, one of the best, but there's still sort of like a big vacuum, right, between them and teams that are higher in power ranking.
Yes.
And we even heard it from Moshi earlier on too. He said that it feels like the Indonesian teams aren't exactly the sharpest when it comes to close quarter combats, 4v4 when you don't get a second chance. And I have to agree with him, right? I think we've given these squads enough time, maybe almost 2 years. We've been gassing them up, but I think now it's time for them to prove that they're actually worth it.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I'm waiting for the awakening of the Indonesian region within Clash Squad as well, but not as much as waiting to see Malaysia climb up the ranks. But of course, the lineup for the team that could dominate the first series of the day. Cypher, Team SR, Baros, Dew. For the side of AG.AL, we've seen Dew. We've seen what he could do on the global stage. That 1v4 clutch that just broke the nations because everybody went screaming when he pulled that off. And at that point, I think we still thought that Dew was all alone in this battle. But in the recent times, the rest of his squad has caught up with him. In fact, Cypher is leaving Dew in the dust sometimes with his eliminations these days.
In Battle Royale, Cypher is a monster, right? It really feels like he took a lot of the weight off of Dew's shoulder. And whether it's Nameless or Team SR, they both have been delivering good numbers, whether domestically or regional or even on the world stage. And of course, they're up against the champions of EWC 25, EVOS Divine, but that was the last title that they really could sort of hold on to, because afterwards, fall season, all through global finals and spring, EVOS Divine are still finding their identity. In spring season, they said that they haven't shown all their cards yet, but I feel like at some point, you have to show what you have.
Yeah, or you just don't have the cards and you are just faking it on the table, right? And EVOS Divine, I think in the recent times, they have been a lot of talk, just no showing on the battlefield. Ever since EWC 2025, we haven't really seen them hit those high notes just yet. They've been on the lower end. They've been looking pretty confident though. Every time we look at those player cams, every time we see them, I see smiles, I see confidence, I see them just absolutely roaring to go. But the results on the battlefield are just a tad bit disappointing, I would say. Here in Clash Squad, at least if they go through a couple of rounds of disappointment, they can still turn things around. It's not like Battle Royale. Once your team gets eliminated, you have to wait for the next game. You get the chances within the same matchup in itself, but you'll have to play your chances right, and it's all going to start off on the drafts, Husky.
Yeah, I think Clash Squad really, exposes a lot of the weaknesses of certain teams, right? Like when we look at Battle Royale, you are given so many chances due to the resources that Battle Royale provides. But when it comes to Clash Squad, you are put in the heat of the moment, and that's where mistakes really count. It brings you back to the raw essence of what Free Fire used to be before you get to revive, the teammates that were taken down early on. And I think for a team like EVOS Divine, it really speaks volumes of how much more they need to improve on when it comes to 4v4s, when you don't have a second chance, when you can't just rely on one-star player. What is the next move? And they have yet to find an answer, sadly.
Yeah, unfortunately, they haven't found an answer. Unlike AG.AL, they have found the answer and they are smashing it right now. Be it Battle Royale or Clash Squad, we've seen them rise to the top, and the team is looking like they have never looked before. They are looking dangerous out there on the battlefield. And And surprisingly, this is where it all started. It started on Clash Squad. This is where they started building up their confidence once again. And once they won it on the global finals last year, becoming the very first champions of Clash Squad on the global stage, they have not stopped rocking it just yet. EVOS Divine, on the other hand, is on the exact opposite. After winning EWC 2025, they've just been on the downward momentum. They haven't really woken up just yet. But again, if you look at them, they're just chill. They are not really panicking. They seem cool, calm, composed. It seems like this was all part of their plan. They just didn't want to go all out. And I just don't know when is that going to come to an end, right? Like, when are they finally going to step up and say, ha, we got you. We got you guys guessing. We thought, you guys thought that we won't wake up, we won't dominate, and finally we've gotten it. But man, quite a number of competitions have ended and I'm still waiting.
Yeah, we've been waiting for let's just say a year, right? Like almost a full year, year since the last trophy lift. Of course, when we look at fall season last year, we can kind of chalk it up to, okay, the meta shifted a little bit. EVOS Divine felt uncomfortable. That's okay, right? And then when we go to Jakarta for the global finals, I think that was a reality check, not just for EVOS Divine, but for Indonesia as a region, and how much struggle that they are going through. And spring doesn't really reinforce the confidence that the fans have in them. But I think EVOS at least are one of the less, I would say, depressing team to watch. They're always cheerful, and I think that's a good thing about them, right? They're always in a good mood.
Team SR is trying to become the next mustachio of Thailand. I spot that mustache there. It's still in its infancy, but I'm very sure it'll gain a lot of momentum in the coming months. Bermuda is going to be the first map that we play on, and it looks like it is AG.AL that has gotten that random pick as the winners. So they'll get to pick map 1 and 3, but that's only if we get into a map number 3. Does AG.AL end it on a 2-0 like you and I have predicted? Or will EVOS put up some sort of a crazy fight? Either EVOS ends it on a 2-0, or they drag us all the way into a game number 3. In this series, I think both of our eyes are definitely going to be on EVOS and how they manage a monster like AG.AL from the get-go.
There are a lot of times that we look at any EVOS matchup and we think that it's going to be close, and then it becomes a blowout, right? So coming into this, I do hope it is not going to be the case. Obviously, for EVOS or most Indonesian teams, they love to go for more utility-based lineup, and in this case, it's the Koda and the Oscar ban out. Not a surprise right there. I'm expecting AG.AL to go more on the offensive. They already got themselves the Oscar and the Orion, so playing very much to their style.
Yeah, absolutely. So taking away the game of information from the side of AG.AL is a brilliant move. But do they take that clue away from them as well? Because it seems like the priority picks are focusing on that Steffi. A124 has been locked in as well. They've got the Ignis and the Flame Mirage on their side. They are not playing the game of information too much in their side as well.
Yeah, I think, I wouldn't be surprised if that Santino and Skylar comes through for AG.AL. Sort of a bit of a mirror of what Falcons like to do as well. They have many different variations of what the sniper gets, and this time they do let the Cassie go through until the very end. So this is, again, very, very AG.AL. And Dimitri locked in for EVOS, and just like I mentioned, right, very polarizing approach to the game. EVOS leaning very much towards utilities.
Yeah, if anything, I think the most dangerous active skill on the side of AG.AL is what Dew has on his side. It's that Santino. It's that Santino that enabled him that 1v4 clutch. It's that Santino that has caused so many players a lot of problems. Santino's not the strongest character out there if your mechanical skills are not supreme, if your foresight is not supreme in Clash Squad, and both of it is on 100% proven track record as far as Dew is concerned. So he's definitely going to crush it with that Santino as always. But let's see if or not the new meta has got any sort of changes that's brought in here, because obviously with the nerf onto Nikita, the shotguns are probably not going to be as spicy on the front lines. But of course, they're going to start things off on a pistol round, and it's all about who gets these shots first.
And you should see some binary investments from Russia side as well, looking for those one taps. But I'll be not if the front line goes down, which Dew has already found aim guard. members of the AG still pretty much healthy, but Dude does get ambush, and EVOS starting off to a really convincing one and finds a complete wipeout there. Basically swarming AG.AL and then getting themselves the first round.
Yeah, I feel like the backstab from EVOS, they flanked around, and that's the winning play, right? Off of Ray right there. AIM got initially with those shots. A tad bit surprised that Cypher could not pull it off with the extreme encounter. Even Team SR, he had the Orion, but the Orion did absolutely nothing to help him survive that encounter with the players of EVOS, who very quickly flanked around, understanding their positional advantage. And AG.AL just trying to take a big advantage off of the initial Flame Mirage let go by Ray. But can say EVOS kind of played that perfectly, blocking off the vision from the side of AG.AL. Team SR down early this time around. The hand cannon off of the Supreme Sniper from the side of EVOS, putting the guy down. Easy pickup. Barros too low. And he gets knocked down by Ray's skill. This is the push now from the side of EVOS. Team SR is going to get caught out, but Apex shut down just by the corner, but saved by AIM-God and Rasya.
A Supreme Sniper, great value from Rasya. The 1Ts are paying off big time. And unfortunately for Dio, he's up in a 1v4. And I think this is going to be a clean conversion there. Dio finds a knock on the Rasya, but no confirmation. EVOS with a flawless round 2.
I mean, this is that shocker that we were talking about, Husky, and it's EVOS starting things off really hot. They've got the advantage in terms of resources now as well. They've got the economy advantage. AG.AL, on the other hand, will have to eco, especially Dew, who's looking for that sniper for himself. But with the Thompson X in the hands of Barros as well as Team SR, there's a big probability that they get to swing this around to their side. You brings that vest in as well, needs a helmet. And if you look at the side of EVOS, they've got their defenses up for sure.
Yep, and the frag grenade in the hands of Ray 2. Very early toss out, just in case AG.AL goes for the rush. But of course, the inventory is still being controlled. Team SR in the smoke as well. ABA's going to be on the hunt with the sight. And that will actually force Team SR to back off. So they're not as gung-ho as I thought they would be. Barros taking plenty of damage from the frags too. And EVOS now pushes forward. ABAX actually still finds Team SR. And that is bad news for AG.
Yeah, the Crimson Crush was used too early and he could not activate the active skill when he most needed it. AIM got down on the ground, but AG.AL just down with the numbers, and Rasya just coming in with that final shot, taking Dew out of the equation. 3-0. EVOS showing us a different side of themselves, and they also pull away the cyber point in this round. Big advantage for EVOS at the very start of the series.
Yeah. The lack of coda, like you said earlier on, right, doesn't allow AG.AL to ping out anyone hiding in the smoke. So they had no idea whether someone was still sitting hidden there. And not to mention, you're walking into a Steffi, you're dealing with A124. Good time utilities from EVOS can really basically downgrade AG.AL to just pure gun reliant. And in that case, they didn't have any utilities that they could utilize. The EVOS Divine now up 3-0 and pretty much decked out in the weaponry. Unfortunately, whatever investment AG.AL made in the previous round didn't pay off, and now we'll have to turn to Deal to find something.
Team SR, again, playing it risky here, going all the way down to the middle. He's laid out those smokes already. Apex right beside him. Cypher looking for the backstab. Finds Ray with the Thompson. Headshot puts him down. Dew looking for the angles, but the smokes have got the EVOS players all covered. AIM got tagged up from up top. Team SR finds him with the follow-up on the MP5. And this time, it's AG.AL making that comeback. 4v2, they've got the numbers advantage.
Yeah, very well done from AG.AL. In fact, EVOS actually knew where Dew is, but they lost track of him thanks to the earlier backstab. And Dew was able to find Rasha and should convert into ABAX. ABAX wins that, but still has 3 more members of AG.AL to go through. Finally, some signs of life from AG.AL. A good attempt there, but unfortunately it's into the Orion, so AG.AL finds the first round in more of a semi-eco situation, so this should convert splendidly into round 5.
I mean, this is initially what we were expecting from AG.AL, but with them losing that first pistol round, having to go on eco on round 2, losing that as well, And of course, it didn't help that the third round where they went in for the investments, that didn't pay off. But in round 4, where the economy kind of recovered a tad bit, they had the guns, they had the helmet, they had the vest, they had the defenses. And of course, they had the high ground held by Dew, and that was a very big difference maker for the side of AG.AL. This time round, though, a rush straight up front. And I feel like Barros, with the electrotherapy, just needs to be a tad bit careful here, because time and time again, he's putting himself on the front lines. If he gets taken out early, it's going to be very tough for Cypher to hold his ground.
And their utilities also, they need to change up the timings a little bit so that the step feed doesn't end up negating most of it. AIM actually gets knocked down. Team SR comes in and finds a twofer with the side, and this should set AG.AL for another round win. Team SR is just cutting all of them down. Give him the ace. Why not? It's 3 for Team SR as Cypher picks up the last. But this one was a speed run. AG.AL, they're starting to warm up their engines.
Yeah, absolutely. This time, the priority was for the cyber point. They laid out that smoke perfectly, went in for the push. Team SR had the sight, and up close and personal, man, that sight is deadly. They always say, don't bring a knife to a gunfight, but if you've got a sight, no problem.
Not a problem at all. In fact, it's pretty deadly if you think about it, right? If you could just slash someone like that. AG.AL, now back to a clock tower again. Let's see if EVOS makes any adjustments. I think previously they picked the right spot to fight, but they just didn't account for the fact that Team SR would just, blitz through the front line. So now EVOS making the decision to go up to the second floor. This does avoid any direct confrontations.
Yeah, no cyber point for collection this time around, so no distractions. Fair 4v4 fight with EVOS taking that high ground first, just waiting to see exactly what AG.AL does here. Team SR connected with Barros and that electrotherapy, moving up front with the sight, looking for the slice. And it's going to be the Crimson Crush that keeps him safe for the time being, but barricaded away by those glue walls. A124 will be popped, and it's EVOS with the advantage. Barros taken out, Cypher snuffed out as well. Numbers advantage turned into a potential round win here for EVOS.
Yeah, the bait and switch. EVOS made AG.AL go into the building for the hunt and ended up backstabbing them instead. A very masterfully laid out plan.
Yeah.
AVAX will still go down eventually, but Team SR had no chance against the rest of EVOS Divine. That puts them up 4-2. And I think this one is more on the play of AG.AL's confidence and how they feel like they could overpower EVOS. But he forgot about the fact that EVOS got them trapped in the building when they thought that they were the ones hunting EVOS down.
Absolutely, and I have to say, well-played timing from Rasya and the thrill of battle. The A124 definitely made a very big difference. I don't think Cypher managed to activate the extreme encounter off of that Zane before getting into that scuffle. And just having that A124, man, just turns things around so quickly in a Clash squad 4v4. AIM got now pushing on fourth. They've got the Steffi, and they want to get down to the middle. They want that cyber point. Team SR is going to compete for that. And he eats a nade, half his HP taken away. It's a 2v1. Team SR in a lot of trouble. Barros dropping back to see if he can help out his buddy. Apex and AIM got held back, and EVOS should be able to secure the cyber point for the squad.
Team SR survival is very, very important for AG.AL this round. He's held on for very, very long, and that should give his teammates enough time to come in. But Apex pops you with the 1D, and AIM God gets Team SR finally, and that's going to mean the AG.AL are in a horrible spot. Barros ends up going down to Cypher in a 1v4. And again, EVOS Divine just executing it a bit better than what AG.AL would have liked.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising that AG.AL didn't go in for the full-on commitment for the cyber point. They took the high ground, trying to take advantage of the situation. But EVOS just played that so smartly, laying out the smoke, sneaking on in there as usual, trying to get Cypher out of the equation first, and that was not what they got, unfortunately. But they took Team SR and they said, you know what, as good as it is going to be here. Cypher, on the other hand, up on the roof, trying to get those shots, but man, he could not find the connections at all.
I feel like it was he had to take over Dew's position, right? Because Dew got found early on, but I think Team SR definitely had the worst fate of all. He held back EVOS. He basically absorbed most of the pressure, and unfortunately AG.AL just not able to get into the spot to provide backup. And when they do, they lost their prize sniper, so things escalating from bad to worse. Now EVOS Divine sitting on match point.
This time they slow the pace down a tad bit. AWM in the hands of Dew, looking for those shots. Cypher connected with the electrotherapy. And I feel like it was a mistake to connect that electrotherapy to Team SR earlier and send him up to the front lines. This time Cypher looking to make that big damage, but gets caught between two players. And oh my lord, Cypher drops ABAX, gets traded right back out. Russia's there for the save. Team SR jumps on in, and Dew unable to get the Punisher with the first couple of shots. And EVOS finding a little bit of time to recover here, but AimGod's gonna get stuck behind the glue wall. Perfect time turner played, looking for the pickup onto Russia. But here comes the rest of the players on the side of AG.AL. Crimson Crush activated by Team SR. M590 on for the pop. The jump shot finds AimGod. And Russia sorted out as well. AG.AL hanging on, making sure EVOS doesn't run away with game one.
Yeah, saved by the bell here. Barros against Ray took slightly too long. I don't know how Barros was able to stay alive for longer than he should, but it bought enough time for Team SR to arrive, and Dew as well. Great placement of that crosshair. He basically bailed the rest of his team out of that spot. If he didn't get the 2-tap on the Russia, I feel like that round would have instantly ended. But AG.AL has bought themselves one more round. And pretty much decked out in equipment. They have what it takes to win this. And again, these environments that AG.AL has been preferring to play with, now they're going to double stack on the high ground.
Let's see what they get to pull off with this position. AimGod smokes, giving them good enough cover. MP5 level 3 in the hands of ABAX on the front lines, but he's got to back away. Not enough HP on him. Does he have a medkit? Answers absolutely not. So ABAX can't get involved in a big fight just yet. Cypher just trying to tag up anybody with the Thompson from that high ground. And it's a stalemate here for the time being. Team SR cooking himself.
Oh!
A good nade there, but that will not find anyone.
You actually reposition with the mannequin and ends up running into the EVOS member. Come on! Dew taking a bit too long for the conversion and might have to end up trading himself. Thankfully, they're able to push AimGod back, so Dew gets picked back up. That was almost a fatal mistake, but Ray still able to find Team SR. And Ray finds Dew as well. Another knockdown, but the members of EVOS not looking too healthy. Members of AG.AL, though, still capable of fighting. And once more in the last second, they bailed themselves out.
That was incredible from AG.AL. They were not supposed to win that round. They went in there for the full-on commitment, got the cyber point. And mind you, they were initially losing out on the advantage of those cyber points. And now they've got access to those level 4 West, and it is going to be a slightly tankier, more troublesome AG.AL in this next round to make a good comeback here, holding EVOS on their match point for so long.
And that is unfortunate because EVOS had the drop on the AG.AL. That round felt like an EVOS round. The fact that they found Dew when he repositioned and still were not able to close out the job. Cypher will have to make first contact. It's going to dump all of his glue walls to buy time. This is the same situation we saw AG.AL in previously. But this time, Cypher just gets brute force through and ABAX finds the opener.
Oh, Russia tagged up. Nade out of nowhere. Does not find the connection, but Russia taken out by Team SR on that M590. Flame Mirage does not really force AG.AL to reposition. Everybody else on the side of EVOS backing away. They've got the medkits, and AimGod's the only one that gets the advantage to recover. ABAX and Ray will have to stay out of trouble. They are at a big disadvantage with the amount of HP that's on them right now.
Yeah, AG.AL performed a backstab and only found one, but it's better than nothing. I think Dew also got tagged out early on. AimGod looks to aggress. And if they can find Team SR here, it gives EVOS almost total control of the low ground. And Team SR will have to take over what Cypher's job was to keep EVOS at bay. He sees all three of them crossing. Important intel that he can now give to his teammates.
AG.AL looking for the reverse sweep, but they'll have to bring us into a round 11 first. We are all equal with the numbers. Dew is connected to the electrotherapy, and that's going to give a big advantage to the sniper. Dew spots AimGod. What a shot! AimGod, a sliver of health left on him. ABAX taken out of the equation already. Varus going in for the finisher with a Thompson, but AimGod out of nowhere with a backstab gets a double for himself. Argon on the lower ground, and the final shot that was needed taken perfectly, and into round 11 we go.
Very unfortunate for Russia. He tried to rendezvous with the rest of the squad and got completely blasted from the back as AG.AL pulled basically a 180 backstab that I don't think EVOS anticipated where AG.AL actually were at. And the distraction set up by Cypher paid off big time. Now we're going to match point. AG.AL have pulled themselves from the brink, a 2-5 scoreline to now 5-5, and it's all going to end at peak.
Man, you've got all the players on the side of AG.AL stacked with the level 4 West. They've got the extra defense. EVOS, they looked like they were going to win this game. And just like that, AG.AL just turning things around. Dew missing 2 opportunities. That's not going to be good. Aim got spotted again, and Dew misses again. Team SR on the hunt. He's got to back away now as AimGod and ABAX flank around from the right-hand side. AG.AL looking for the reposition. And everybody backing away. They've got the medkits to work around with as well. So round 2 for AG.AL. EVOS making sure they don't get snuffed out that easy.
And I swear EVOS got so lucky because you had a chance to just end the round there.
Yeah.
But still, I think EVOS, they're not out in the clear just yet because they have to find a way into the building. But if you're AG.AL, if EVOS doesn't have enough utilities, AG.AL can stay here forever.
Yeah.
The UAV does get a good ping though. They know where the adversaries are at right now. And AimGod aims to make first contact and get a 1-for-1 trade. It's Russia for Team SR.
AimGod going in for the pickup. Doesn't have a Thiva on him. That takes 3 years. And Abex will not be able to recover. No medkit on him, so he can't get involved in a big fight just yet. Dew gets the tag. Team SR with the follow-up. AimGod down. Russia trades out Team SR. The pickup could still be pulled off here. Russia can't get involved in a straight-up fight. Ray up close and personal, looking for the pickup. Cypher does not find the connection. And AimGod right back up on his feet. Dew all alone now as he tries to back away. EVOS has this in the bag. And Dew shut down 6-5. Round 11 Saber coming through even though the resources were stacked on the side of AG.AL.
Well, with the odds stacked against them, EVOS still managed to pull out a win. A lot closer than what we would have liked. But what matters is how you finish. And EVOS Divine, they finished strong. AG.AL had a very good idea. They smoke off the doorway to create some confusion, but EVOS managed to keep the trays even. And it's these even trays that ended up giving them the advantage. Russia finding a way into the fight and deciding that he's going to play close quarter. Big contributor to winning the later stages of those gunfights because they needed an extra body, and Russia stepped up.
Yeah, Russia definitely stepped up, right? At the end of the day, he had the Luna, he had the Otho, and whenever the players on the side of AG.AL grouped together and he got a knock, they also got a very big advantage off of that passive skill. Russia, he was just rocking it, and it's not just him, AimGod as well on the front lines. I feel like, although he was supposed to be the backup player with the Steffi, he was just up in front, making sure he got the numbers for the squad. Yes, Nikita did get a slight little nerf, but not in the hands of this guy.
Yeah, they're still able to kind of pull off the game plan the way that they wanted. And I think AG.AL, they had some missed opportunities in their last round. Unfortunately, like they've been playing, I would say, quite perfect once they got warmed up, but with a bit too many missed shots from Dew, really sort of allow EVOS to set up for that final push. The UAV scan as well, that was important. It pinged out the entirety of AG.AL and allowed EVOS to really set themselves up for that final fight.
Yeah, I feel like AG.AL was just taking that first game as an experiment, right? Because if you look at their loadout, they did not have a single team booster on their side. They brought in 3 tactical markets as well as 1 enhanced hammer, which just was, keeping me scratching my head like, what are they actually doing with this one? You don't get those extra EP, you don't get the extra advantage off of that EP conversion as well, which is a very big disadvantage against a team like EVOS. And whatever that AG.AL did not have in the game, EVOS clearly had. They brought in 2 tac markets, 2 team boosters. I mean, that's really a standard setup, if you ask me, for Clash Squad. And I think AG.AL did not look to throw the game, but they're definitely trying to figure out if or not they can pull off some tricks in the later part of the competition. And they're willing to give up this first game.
Yeah, I think they're also looking to sort of limit test, right? Like how much can they get away with if you play in a more, I would say, quote unquote selfish way where you're looking to just boost yourself and use raw mechanics to carry through. And they almost worked out well. I mean, they almost won. They almost sort of like beat EVOS through sheer force and some very smart plays. And when EVOS started to get a bit rusty, you can see that AG.AL started catching them, an off angle, starting to really punish EVOS for the sloppiness, like crossing wide open areas. But at the end of the day, EVOS, all they needed to do is to get good timings on their utils, and especially this last round, the even trades really kept them afloat.
Yeah, and I also feel like Team SR, again, experimentation on his side. He brought in the Orion without the Miguel. He was running the Moko and the Joseph and the Nikita, which again just kept me scratching my head. But this guy, he had the perfect plan out there. The Ortho memory miss, I think, was one of the biggest game changers. Just managing to slow down a couple of players from the side of AG.AL every single time he got a knock. 8 eliminations in totality, 4.3k on the damage, 13 assists. Very active in this first game that went all the way around into round 11.
More participative as well in more of these big team environments, right? Like most snipers, they go for the Santino. We've seen Morse, we've seen Skylar, Iris, but A124, more of a less taken route, but it does allow Russia to get into the thick of things and even provide long-range support without really compromising these qualities.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's check out the scoreboard here as well. And yes, that A124 was very, very valuable in multiple rounds. I think it was timed perfectly. Every time AG.AL came running at them, Russia said, all right, thrill of battle time, and instantly locked them into a spot where they were at a huge disadvantage. Look at the numbers. AimGod walking away with 9 eliminations in totality, 8 assists. Ray was crazy, I thought, until I saw Abex with the 20 assists. Man, this guy was involved in almost every single elimination out there.
I mean, he was basically doing the dirty work, right? He was setting it up for the team. Obviously, there was also moments where he's the one that is forced to run into the smokes. He's the one tossing out the utils and just taking the beating from AG.AL. Right? This sandbag from EVOS Divine ended up paying off. But in the grand scheme of things, I think AG.AL, they had some very solid ideas. They were adapting to EVOS' move pretty well, and it really just came down to a couple of crucial missed shots when they were ahead.
Cypher brought Miguel. I don't know why would Cypher bring Miguel. He's got the Zane on him. You want that extra EP. You don't have the EP conversion off of your team booster. AG.AL with their draft makes me think that they woke up and they were just not ready for this game. And this loss, I think, is going to be a big shocker for them. They cannot underestimate EVOS, and they definitely have to play a better draft on this next game. I feel like they dropped the ball big time with this experiment. And, they could have taken advantage of the fact that they are very good mechanically in a matchup in a regular game of Clash Squad. But who they're going up against is a awakened form of EVOS, who are not going to let this one go easy. I think many people have trash-talked EVOS quite a lot. Even we have our doubts as well. We've been waiting for them to wake up in the past year. And this is that moment for them. But man, I thought AG.AL was about to make a comeback there.
Yeah, I think that itself should restore some confidence, right? Like imagine if they weren't that far behind, if they weren't down 5-2, high chances that AG.AL probably would have walked away with round 1. It really goes two ways. EVOS still a bit more to be desired, but I think for AG.AL, let's see how they perform on EVOS' map pick, right? Because if all fails, at least when they get to game 3, it is going to be that map pick again.
Yeah. Now, I'm a little torn because I'm so confused with AG.AL's draft when it comes to the active and passive skills, their team loadout, but they still managed to drag it into a round number 11, which is crazy, right? They had a very bad draft, and yet they looked like they were about to make a comeback. If they actually brought in a proper draft, Husky, I think they will be able to smash EVOS Divine. If they play this next game seriously, AG.AL is going to be the dangerous team once again, and guaranteeing us a game number 3 for sure.
And you know what they say, right? In the core of Free Fire is just, whoever gets a shot in the head goes down, you lose the game. But now they are going to swap out Barros for Nameless, and let's see if this is going to give them, the extra boost that they need. It's not to say that Barros, didn't make the cut. I think the entirety 5-man roster of AG.AL are solid as always. But EVOS Divine, if they struggle against Barros, Nameless is going to be another problem that they have to figure out. And I wonder how much does EVOS prep for this?
And usually, even if they take an L, AG.AL is full of smiles. And look at EVOS Divine. They are so cool, calm, and collected. I think they're filling up some form for Esports World Cup, trying to figure out how tall they are. And this, in no way at all, gives us a good measure of how good they are in a good game of Free Fire. But I don't think it matters.
I mean, Russia is turning 17 this year, right? So he's still going through the growth spurt. I think he has some height left in him.